Welcome back, guys. This is Across All Arenas. I'm here with my brother Andre from a different mother. I'm Ryne, and we're doing this podcast after having like a few mishaps with production. I'm hoping that everything is cool, but Andre, man, it's I haven't seen you in like what 2 weeks,
Yeah,
so
we took a week off and now we have all these tech problems, which is
that's what
I don't
happens. All
know.
these bugs.
Yeah, all of these bugs started to show up after a week of not doing a full pod. But you know what? We're here. I have earphones on because apparently that's what's fucking everything up. So
I mean, you sound fine, and I don't hear no feedback. But, anyways, man, I think today what we're just going to concentrate on is this John Cena heel turn,
the man on
or
your hat.
the man on my hat, or
You can't see me.
did he turn heel? Is he a baby face? Oh wait, no, he's just a human being. So we've had 2 weeks of seeing what this new John Cena heel is. And, a few weeks ago, we said that, oh, we're going to get new music, we're going to get a new look, maybe even a new haircut. Nah, we did it. And my question to you is, we have this new John Cena, who is somewhat of a heel, or just not the same guy that we know. What do you think of this performance that's going on right now with John?
I love it. I'm here for all of it. I, it's so refreshing to see this side of John because for so many years you know we've s- we've seen we've seen him like all happy face and like I love you guys and blah 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 whatever. But it's just after 20, well, at least in my lifetime, so that's like 10 plus years of watching John in WWE. It it it's it, it kind of, like we said before, if he was gonna turn heel, well, not really heel, but if he was gonna be a different character, it'd be now, regardless if this is his farewell tour or not, whether if he's retiring after this year or not, he's gonna go on this run for however long he's gonna go on for. But I just really like this John Cena better than what he's been doing for the past 10 plus years. Because now we don't know what he's really gonna do. And now he's supposed to not show up on Raw, before Mania. So like this last Raw was like the last Monday Night Raw before probably like WrestleMania week or something like that. So
Well,
maybe The Rock.
he's coming. His last Raw appearance will be what, next week, and then there's what, 3 weeks, or maybe what, two? Yeah, about 3 weeks in
Two
between.
and a half weeks.
2.5 weeks, yeah, in between when we might not see him again until WrestleMania. Which, again, things can change, right? And just recapping of what's happening. John Cena. We finally see this new um, persona of his 2 weeks ago in Brussels, where he comes out, basically bitches and moans
Yeah.
about the fans, not necessarily to Cody Rhodes,
He
but
called out a kid.
he called out a kid. He made that kid famous. There was a video of this kid where he's like, "Oh, John Cena, he's my favorite. I can't wait to see him." And then moments after, he is now a meme, or he is now the face of being called out. And it was hilarious because John Cena is one of the most he of course, this is all kayfabe, right? Or maybe not, but of course it's all kayfabe. It's a storyline. And John Cena is the is the number one of the number biggest wishes in Make-A-Wish Foundation, as
Yeah.
far as like kids meeting, their celebrities. So, you know, the fact that they're bringing this in this story, like, it's kinda perfect because he's just he was all and going back to what you said earlier and how he was winning and, you know, uh, people loved him until they didn't love him, but he still kept that persona of, even when they were booing him, because even though there was a point where he was still, you know, he it was the biggest face, people kinda got tired of him because they wanted to see him get squashed and put some other wrestlers over. And you mentioned something, we were talking off the call, and you said that, you know, that's one of the reasons why John Cena was hated because he kind of killed other careers because he wouldn't give them that limelight. And honestly, it might not be his fault. You know, obviously, we could blame it was Vince McMahon, right? Because
Yeah.
he's the one that made the decisions. So, you know, moving forward to what's going on now, he's blaming the fans. He's finally had enough of the booing, and I always did this. I always did right by you, but you always made fun of me, basically. And now he's getting back at us. And this past Raw, he said that he's going to, you know, he's going to win his 17th title belt. He's going to mark his history in the WWE, with that 17th title, and he's going to take it, and he's going to ruin wrestling.
Oh,
Oh, so
oh,
good.
oh my God. He's gonna make everybody forget about Ric Flair. Oh God, I love it.
And
I
that's the
love
first time
it.
we heard him say Ric Flair too.
But see, so when you bring up the fans, I was actually thinking about this going before I went to work today. I don't blame him for blaming the fans.
Oh, of course. I agree.
Fuck the fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck him. Because he was waiting all this time, right? And, when he first came into WWE, he was like the prototype, right? And then that didn't work out. So then, he turned into Dr. Thugonomics, and that was supposed to be like his heel character, but people loved it so much that it's like, okay, maybe it's not meant to be heel. So then he becomes like John Cena, like, who John Cena is. I mean, it's just, when he was winning so much, as when you're a babyface and you win so much, you expect to be loved. But like you said, like it just got like people, the fans got fatigued, right? They got like John Cena fatigue, and they're just like, man, like these are there's so many other superstars that could have had their shine, but they never got it. So I understand why they booed him, but at the same time, like, he was your biggest baby face, and you're booing this man out the fucking building. And now he comes back like 15, 20 years later. He says, "Fuck y'all for not respecting me, for not loving me at my highest when I was winning." And, like, I don't blame him, man. And like you said, we could blame Vince, right? And, if the fans, continue to cheer him on, nothing was gonna change, not like what Triple H is doing, right? Like, Vince wouldn't react to what the fans were reacting to, what they saw, But, and Triple H, he, like, throws in what we've been saying, where he throws in, like, audibles and all that. But I think for John in this last year, I don't know if he decided to just be like, "Alright, let's just fuck it, see what happens with this run." Or if it was like, okay, let's really go on this run, give the fans what they want. And it could be a combination of both, but it's just, the way that he brought in the fans into this, one, it gets you good fan interaction, right? Like you expect to be booed when you disrespect the fans. But two is like, if you're gonna get heat on you, and especially for him, he's never really had like any really big heat on him the way
The
he is
fans just
now.
gave it to him like for no
Right,
reason. Now he's giving a
right.
reason for you to give him heat, which is honestly brilliant. As far as this match with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, in my theory, I do think that John Cena is going to win his 17th
He
title.
has to. He has to win.
And going to your point, he has to. Not only does he have to, um, it would be pointless if they make John Cena turn heel and then waste it where Cody goes over. It just doesn't make sense. So the story would be much better for Cody and John Cena if John Cena does win, because now you can actually explore what would um, John Cena's 17th title run and his last run be different than the other 16, because the last 16 were him as, I guess, a baby face, right? But this one is going to be special because it's a heel as a
Yeah.
champion. So what are we, and you can do so much with that, with matches. You can do Randy Orton one more time in one of the PLEs or whatnot. You can do CM Punk
Mm.
and John Cena at maybe SummerSlam or something like that,
Yeah.
because in the history we've seen uh, Randy Orton and John Cena, where Randy Orton's the heel and John Cena's the babyface, and then CM Punk, same thing.
Yeah.
Punk the heel, John Cena the babyface. So now you're switching everything up, and there's just so many things that they could do with it. So I mean, for me, the right thing to do is make John Cena not only break the record, because he is one of the biggest superstars
Yeah.
in the last 2 decades. And yes, I get that Cody is the new face. At the end of this run, and I mentioned this to you in the last few episodes, that I do believe that at the end of Cena's farewell tour, he will become face again, and he will
Yeah.
give that torch to uh, Cody, and he will become now the face of the company. And it makes Cody much stronger too as a character.
Yeah.
So, do you feel the same way?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it just makes sense, right? If you, like you said, if you waste this whole initial heel run, then what was the point of even doing it in the first? Then you might as well just have waited till WrestleMania to do it. But I think that's why they wanted to do it at Elimination Chamber. So then it sets up John to win at WrestleMania. Because if the initial plan was for him to turn heel at WrestleMania, then he would have to win the championship at like SummerSlam. Because he wasn't gonna win it at Backlash or Clash at the Castle or
Yeah, it
whatever.
has to be a
It
a
has to be a
bigger PLE.
bigger PLE, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, everything you said, I mean, it's just you can't break what's already a solid foundation because it started at Royal Rumble when we all thought he was gonna win. Well, we thought that CM Punk was gonna win. But then when it got down to John and Jay, we thought John was gonna win. And then Elimination Chamber came, and it's like, okay, well, John could probably win Elimination Chamber, even though we thought Punk would win that too. But,
It was always
you
vice
know,
versa.
right. So, I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like John should just, this is the right time. Like you said, John should just win, and maybe that's why he's not talking as much because he feels like he's gonna win. I think they want us to make him feel like
He's like overly confident.
he's like
You know what I
too
mean?
confident that he
Yeah.
won't speak to Cody because he doesn't need to talk to Cody. He'll just prove it in the ring, right? And maybe that's why, in the 2 weeks that, because I think this past Raw or whatever Raw like was his last Raw before WrestleMania. Yeah. So whenever that last Raw appearance is before Mania,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like during like I think it was this past Raw that was his last Raw before, and then he's gonna take like 3 weeks off before the Mania week. So during those 3 weeks, it's kind of like what he did at Elimination Chamber, when he actually had to leave to film a movie. I think they're kind of revisiting that idea again and like letting Cody talk. And maybe The Rock comes in, right? Because we haven't seen The Rock since Elimination Chamber.
Well, then there's, obviously we always say don't read into the dirt sheets, but there has been rumors that like The Rock is, schedule conflicts or whatnot. But um, you
Brother,
know,
don't read into the I'm
don't read
telling y'all,
into it.
don't read into it.
But going to your point about how the last 2 weeks of Cena and Cody exchanging, appearances, or where John comes out first, he talks to the crowd, to the fans, and then Cody wants to come and put his 2 cents in, and Cody spews out what he needs to say. But to your point, John Cena never really even acknowledges
No.
uh, Cody, and that there alone is storytelling. It's building up. Now, we already got 2 weeks of them not actually, or Cena not talking to Cody. Maybe we'll see in this last appearance next Monday, where we'll finally see it. Because Cody's this past Monday, Cody was pushing. He was pushing John Cena to just fight back. Even did the, Cody with the,
Yeah.
or John Cena when
John
back
did
in the old days. He
yeah.
was ready about to he was about to brawl, but I feel that John is playing mind games, and it's getting to Cody, and I think that's eventually like going to uh basically make John Cena have the upper hand, because Cody's at this point, he's like, say something, like, I'm here. You want this
You
belt, you have to take it from me.
you know what this kind of reminds me of? This reminds me of the Drake and Kendrick beef. Like Drake put out like 2 tracks before Kendrick responded. And Drake was like, "Yeah, like, come on, dog. Like, you're supposed to be like the biggest you're supposed to be like the greatest hip hop artist of this generation." Like, and then when Kendrick responded, it's like, "Oh shit!" Like Kendrick got him.
Yeah, I could
So
see it that way.
I don't know if they actually played into that because that'd be genius if they did, and I'd be the first person to be like, "Oh my god, I figured this shit out." But just by when you, but when you when we but like when you were just talking, it was just like, "Oh my god, it's like Drake and Kendrick," but this is like the wrestling version of that.
Well,
So
people need to get inspiration from other places, right? And it's
true,
kind of like,
right?
when singers and songwriters, like they write about their life, or they can make up stories about things they see on TV, or their surroundings. So maybe that's what they're doing. The creative team in WWE, they're pulling. I mean, if you think about it, like that Kendrick and Drake beef was big. I mean, look at it, in many ways. Kendrick did a little WWE himself at the Super Bowl, where it takes the biggest stage, that's being televised, and basically lays the smackdown on Drake by, say, Drake,
Yeah,
I hear you like him
yeah,
young. Like, come on, that's
yeah,
pretty. That's a WWE kind of style. It's
yeah.
genius. So
Yeah, I mean, man, I just feel like I don't know if John will actually talk to Cody during at least during this, time before their Mania match. I don't think it's gonna happen. Even if he does come on for one more Raw, he's not gonna talk to him. I don't see it happening. There's no reason for him to. I think the reason why John is not talking to him is because it's not that he doesn't see him on his level, it's just the fact that he knows that he's better than him, and he doesn't need to prove it by saying it to him. He just needs to prove it by doing it.
by beating him in the ring at
But that's why he's
WrestleMania,
talking to the fans. He's talking to the
yeah,
fans. He's talking to Cody through the fans.
yeah.
So, because everything that he said, he's gonna say to Cody, but it's just not directly to Cody.
But that's the genius part of this whole storyline. It's they're
Because if you think
beefing.
about it,
but
when
they're not
because
beefing at each other, or it's like indirectly, to the
right, and,
fans.
like, if you go back to the Elimination Chamber, Cody said he said something like, "I" it's like, "I already I already sold my soul, not to this company, but I sold my soul for, like, the people," or something like that.
Yeah, he sold it to the
So, he's
fans.
fighting for the people,
Yeah.
so if you look at it, John is speaking to the fans because Cody's fighting for the fans, like how John fought for the fans.
Yeah.
So when John felt betrayed by the fans, he took it personal, and because Cody's fighting now that Cody is like we've been saying, he's like the new big baby face,
Well, you know
John's
how
like
easy if and then this is probably the reason why John they don't want Cena to talk to Cody, because Cena can burn Cody real quick with, because as far as like the fans being on Cody's side, Cena's had that. And he could be
yeah,
like, I had these fans even before you even, thought of wrestling, or, when you were starting up. Watch how fast they'll turn on you once you make it to the top. Because in reality, Cena, Cody is where Cena was when, it's not like John never experienced that, right?
yeah,
Where you're at the top, the fans are you're well way over, and Cody's eh, Cena can just be like, "You're gonna experience it. Just wait and see." But
yeah.
the good thing too, this whole it's perfect for Cody, because it is going to help Cody's character, because he needs someone like Cena to basically put him. I don't want to say be better than John Cena, but at least put him on that same level.
Right.
Especially now that he is seen as like the next, face of the company. Um, and so again, like I said, it's only going to make his character even better, especially once John's gone.
So we've seen Cody be a heel before, right? With Legacy, with Orton and DiBiase Jr., was him and Damian Sandow, right? Damian Sandow was his name. And then,
Oh,
yeah,
and
and
then
then
AEW, I think
AEW
he was a heel.
TNA,
Yeah.
yeah, AEW TNA, whatever, but we've seen him as a heel before, but we've never seen him as a true babyface. He was a babyface under Stardust, right? With Goldust when they had that little gimmick going on. But he's never, like you said, he's never been in this type of position before. Maybe he's had an AEW. I don't know because I don't watch AEW. But
He's
y-
definitely at the like we said, he's at that John Cena level now. But as far as uh this American Nightmare, which originally was his brother's
yeah, it was
his
supposed to be like Goldust or Dustin
yeah,
Rhodes,
it
his
was
name.
Dustin Rhodes' that was his persona away from WWE. And Dustin gave him the blessings to actually do it. And he even said in the interview that he does that persona way better than he could
That
ever
he would
do
have
it.
done it, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's one of the reasons why Cody left WWE, because he had to find himself, um, and then starting up AEW, getting almost, having not kicked out, but had differences with the AEW, and left that company that he created, and
Yeah.
then finally having the opportunity to come back to where, he loved and finished, the whole story of him finishing, winning that WWE championship belt for himself and for his dad. So they built him up real well. And so now that he's finally in his reign, I think he needs to, because he's like this hero, right? So heroes always run into roadblocks. John
Right.
Cena is that roadblock, and he's gonna beat him. He's gonna make his life miserable. Cody's gonna come back, and he's gonna take it, and he'll win his second title by probably the end of the year, assuming that he does lose it at
Yeah.
WrestleMania 41. So it's I do believe that they are thinking long-term storyline, like Rock said a year ago, when WrestleMania 40, when they had that conference here, like they're telling the story. And I think that's what Vince forgot to do. Like, because he was just making things like not make sense sometimes, and it's just like, putting people over that shouldn't be being put
Right.
over. Like, one of the reasons why uh a lot of people didn't like Roman Reigns at the when he was first coming up on his own, because Vince, like, he was like that new John Cena guy where, like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna put you on. But then they finally made him into this, I like to use your term, not heel, but like an anti-hero, kind of
Right.
like what John Cena is right now. He's like an anti-hero. He's not he's not a heel. He's not a baby face. He's a human being
That's
of an
right.
anti-hero. So
But I think the anti-hero is the new heel
yeah,
because
yeah,
because a true heel nowadays isn't gonna get you over,
yeah.
right? I mean, it
You have
kind
to
of
go
works with the
deeper.
you have to go deeper than that because I mean, the Judgment Day is kind of like your biggest heel right now, right? But they're not really doing anything.
Yeah, that's like like the old formula, right? Like
Yeah, that's
kind of
the
like a
old that's what I'm saying. That's like the
yeah,
true heel. That's a formula for a true heel. Right? And, like, even, like, those right now that are supposed to be, like, true heels, they don't get the shine that Cody does. And, Cena, of course, he's the biggest superstar of all time, or at least one of them, right? One of the biggest superstars of all time, right? He's gonna get his shine no matter what. But, I mean, for a guy like Cody who's really had to, like, grind his way through not only just WWE, but through this whole industry to get where he's at, like you said, he had to create something to then eventually leave it to be better.
yeah,
And maybe because, we've seen it with Punk, we've seen it with Roman Reigns, right? They kind of brought that up and they're like, I know Punk and Rose haven't had a formal feud, but she's brought it up or, to some degree, Reigns has brought it up too. Like, he had to, or, I think, well, Seth didn't say it to Rhodes, but he said something like that to Punk. But my point is, if for Cody to be in this position to go against John in this stage of his career, that tells that tells us and that tells WWE like we're changing the way characters are formed in
yeah,
wrestling
yeah,
because the baby face will always be a baby face no matter what, but it's how you create that baby face. And the heel is not a heel, it's an anti-hero. Because it's like with John's Doctor of Psychonomics, it was supposed to be a heel, but it got over so much that people cheered him on. People still booed, but even post even post Doctor of Psychonomics, just John being John. You hear people all the time, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks,"
yeah,
right? So, John has always kind of played that, but not really, right? Like, he still fought for the fans, he's fought for the people, right? But Cody, he's the true babyface. He's like you said, he's where John is at.
yeah,
And, he may not be as good as John, but it's like what you said too, it's like he needs to lose the title to be better.
yes,
Like how he created AEW, left AEW to be better. They need to do that with this title, with at least him losing the title, and maybe that's John's last match with Cody. But then you switch. Now Cody's the heel, and John, like you said, because John has to finish off as a face. You can't have him as a
however that's
heel.
going to look like. Because I feel like you can't really have Cody be heel right now, because you
Even
have to
he said it himself, like he can't be heel right
you have to
now.
spread out the stories, right?
Right.
Because you have to look at, like, there's seasons, right? Like a TV show, there's seasons, right?
Right.
Just like every year, I think, like, the WrestleMania is the end of the season, and then
Right.
it starts a new season, and so we're at the season right now where we see John Cena. We're at, like, episode, let's say this is like a 13 episode season,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
episode 10, right? And WrestleMania is like episode 13, the
Right.
season finale.
Right.
So it's everything you said is 100% on point. And, wrapping this up, the it's going to be gr- it's going to be interesting to see how it just all plays out, because you and I, we have our theories. Everyone else in the world has their own theories, and what we can be saying makes sense, but will they actually, you know, put it toward that trajectory? And
Right.
again, I think we said this like a few weeks ago. What a time to be alive, to be, to watch wrestling. And it's uh it's definitely going to be a huge event, and see how it plays out. So
But also to your point too, and just these are my final thoughts. You have to think post Cena, right? Maybe after this
correct.
year, maybe after this match itself, but you have to think post Cena, right? So let's say Cena wins 17, right? Let's say he wins the 17th. What matches do you have an automatic rematch with Cody? Do you make that John Cena's last match? How do you play that out? And I think, and obviously we'll figure that out after Mania and like the Raw after Mania too. We'll find out like kind of the initial plans of what they do with that. But I think it's more like what we've been saying. I think it's more on Cody, what they're gonna do with Cody's character.
Yeah,
Do they
because
make him
he's the post
right?
Cena, right? So to bring up the point that you just mentioned about, do you if Cena wins, will there be a rematch right away? I say you don't do a rematch right away, because that would be too too
It'd
fast
be too quick.
and
Yeah,
too quick, and you can't build a story. And you have to have Cody struggle so that he can have his triumphant, you know what I mean? And that could be his. And ultimately, I do think Ruthless Aggression, which is the last pay-per-view, I just showed my age, PLE, um, of John Cena, which is in Massachusetts, right?
right.
I think it's Boston, Massachusetts. um, I think that's where maybe John Cena will have the belt from that point on still, and then eventually he's going to lose it. But I do believe that he will lose it back to Cody, and then they'll give their, um, you know, the good graces, and the passing of the torch.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think this is Cody is post Cena, and Cody is almost 42. So it's like, well, he's almost not 42, and
Yeah,
he's
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 also, yeah,
almost he's almost turning 40
he's
if he's not
hitting
already
40.
40.
Yeah.
He's hitting 40 soon. So like, you know, you lose you lose to Cena, you go through the struggle. Maybe they have an automatic rematch, but then there's some like interference from like The Rock or whoever The Rock sends over, and then you go through that struggle to get back to the title match, right? That's I mean that's how we would both book it, but like you said, we don't know what their plans are because everybody's so focused on this match that we're not thinking long term. We have to think long term, right? And you could do that with any match too, right? With the triple threat match, with the Jay Uso Gunter match, if that's even still happening,
Oh, let's
you know
don't
what I
even get me
mean?
started with that one. Um, but you know
But
what? I think that Triple H and his creative team, I think they have us covered. I think they're doing uh, justice for the
They're
fans,
cooking. They're
and they're
cooking.
cooking, and they're making it entertaining. They're making it where people are talking about it. If you don't have people talking about it, then you know that you didn't do your job.
Right.
So the fact that
Right.
they're having us, you and me, everyone else on social media, and they're talking about it. I mean, then they're doing their job. So
Long-term storytelling, man. Long-term
yep.
storytelling.
Well,
Because
yeah, man.
everybody's so focused on this match. The long-term storytelling, y'all.
Oh man, my brain hurts after just discussing all that because it was just a lot of good takes on this whole John
We thought
Cena
about this on
and
the fly, y'all. I didn't even make a rundown. We thought about this on the fly. We made an impromptu booking, whatever, on the fly. Long-term storytelling, man. Long-term
for sure, for
storytelling,
sure.
because you can't be focused on, and that's why that's why I don't like about the wrestling community, at least the wrestling fan community, or what the IWC, whatever they want to call it. Nobody thinks long term. Every video that you see, nobody thinks long
It's
term.
all I want, I want, I want.
And
Well,
that's where
no,
John Cena comes in,
yeah.
and that's why I empathize with John Cena, because John is thinking to the future. You may not see
And
it.
The Rock too.
You
The
right,
Rock
and The
too's
Rock.
thinking, yeah,
And The Rock keeps saying, enjoy the ride. You have to enjoy
because
the
you're
ride.
we'll never
Because
get it again. We'll
Right,
never get
because
a
you'll
John
never
Cena
get it.
heel.
You'll never get it again. And like, everybody has so much high expectations for not just this WrestleMania, but for every WrestleMania,
Yeah.
right? Everybody has so much expectations for this year's WrestleMania. I'm going into it with no expectations. I want to go
We're
there
just going there having have a good
to have
time.
fun. I'm
That's
gonna get
all.
my Ryan and I are gonna get beers, get some food, and we're gonna enjoy some great wrestling.
For
Because if you
sure.
put expectations, and this is our final thoughts. If you go to any movie, show, whatever, you go there with expectations, and it doesn't exceed those expectations, or at least meet those expectations, you're not gonna enjoy it. You're gonna rate it as a low rating.
There's a
So
quote in the Spider-Man No Way Home um, movie where MJ says, "Expect to be disappointed, and you'll never be disappointed."
yes! Oh, that's my favorite quote of the whole movie.
So
But that's the
that's
epitome of
for sure.
what I'm saying. So if
But
there's a
okay, man.
message out to the IWC, don't have any expectations.
Yeah,
For as good, enjoy it while it lasts.
yeah.
And just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Especially for us too, that work in television. Enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Don't expect nothing. Even if you feel like something's gonna happen, just enjoy it. Don't judge it. Just enjoy
All
it.
right. Well, we're gonna end it right there, man. Expect to be disappointed, and you'll never be disappointed. Oh, Andre, we got a few more weeks to WrestleMania, so
3 weeks, baby.
um, man, hey, if you guys like what you're hearing on Across All Arenas, keep on listening. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us.
All right there at the bottom, dog. Right there.
That's all we want from you. So until next week, we'll see you. Until next week, we'll see you then. Bye.
Deuces. Let's get it.
Nah. You can see